Many people regard The Pursuit of Happiness as an uplifting, rags-to-rich feel-good film, yet those who truly understand it know it never glorifies success. Instead, it delivers a tender yet brutal truth for ordinary people. Most of life is spent gritting one's teeth and pressing on. What makes this movie extraordinary is that it paints no one as a villain. It does not dismiss Chris's wife as cold-hearted, nor does it grant the protagonist an overblown heroic aura. It simply chronicles an ordinary father from the bottom of society clinging to his dignity.
When is somebody going to clean this off?
我唔俾我講英文喎，唔地同你講沒喎。
Why? We talked about this. It's an I in happiness. There's no Y in happiness. It's an I.
His son, and hope at the lowest point of his fate. Chris Gardner stands as a microcosm of countless average people. Middle-aged, with no decent job or steady income, he poured all his savings into stockpiling bone-density scanners, fully believing they would turn his fortunes around, only for the machines to become unwanted burdens. Each heavy device weighed on him not just physically, but as the weight of rent, meals, daily expenses, and his last shred of hope for life. Day after day, he wandered the streets of San Francisco, hustling to sell the scanners and hitting dead ends, no matter how hard he strove, never able to fill the gaping holes of survival. Prolonged poverty and hopelessness drained all warmth from their household. Many readily condemn his wife Linda for leaving cruelly, yet they overlook the countless agonizing nights she endured, constantly living paycheck to paycheck, endless rent demands, unending poverty with no light at the end of the tunnel, and daily anxiety wore away all her joy and expectations. She did not lack the will to hold on.
Girl
Whatever.
What?
Whatever.
Whatever what?
Every day he's got some damn story.
An ordinary person's capacity to endure hardship has its limits. Walking away when no glimmer of hope remained was her humble, desperate attempt to save herself. The film never forces a rift between them. When two adults part ways, it is rarely one person's fault, merely two people crushed by life who can no longer walk side by side. After Linda's departure, Chris's life plummeted into an endless abyss, the most raw and heart-wrenching stretch of the entire story. Chris almost missed the interview entirely, and his start there was equally rough. He was seen as disrespectful for lacking formal attire, yet his sincerity and light-hearted words put everyone at ease. Instead of making excuses for himself, he spoke openly about his desperation with a touch of humor, leaving a lasting impression on the interview panel. By this point, they were months behind on rent.
He said you're smart.
I like to think so.
First in your class, in school, high school.
Can I say something?
Chris, if a guy walked in for an interview without a shirt on, and I hired him, what would you say?
He must have had on some really nice pants.
And their landlord ordered them to vacate. Left homeless, he had nowhere to go with his young son. His already precarious life crumbled completely, and his sole source of income dried up, having fallen far behind on rent. He and his young son were evicted by their landlord, overnight left homeless, with no relatives to shelter them and no friends to lend aid. Penniless Chris wandered the bustling streets of San Francisco with his innocent, confused boy. The city blazed with lights and bustling traffic, brimming with opportunity and glamour, yet not a single corner would take in the desperate father and child. To survive, they cast aside all adult pride. By day, Chris appeared polished like everyone else in a crisp suit, rushing between stockbroker firm interviews, training sessions, and every available job opening. He crammed for exams every spare second, made endless cold calls to land clients, and hauled his scanners around the city, refusing to waste a minute for other interns. The program was a resume booster, an experience, a safety net. For him, it was his only lifeline. The internship paid nothing, offered no benefits, and over 200 candidates vied for a single full-time position. One misstep would send him spiraling into ruin. No one saw the utter desolation hidden beneath his put-together exterior. After grueling days of work and study, as dusk fell, fellow interns headed to dinners, dates, and warm homes. Chris had only his young son by his side, dragging his heavy scanners, scurrying to find somewhere to rest. When hotels were out of reach, they squeezed onto crowded shared bunks at cheap shelters, scrambling for the few available beds and enduring sleepless nights amid noisy crowds. When shelters hit full capacity, they slept rough on park benches, subway corridors, and public restrooms, all makeshift shelters for the pair. One devastating night lingers as an unforgettable heartbreak for countless viewers.
All right, come on, we'll push it together. Oh my goodness.
What is it?
You don't see all these dinosaurs? Look around. I mean, come on. Gotta find someplace safe.
Watch out!
With nowhere to go, Father and son hid inside a subway public restroom, cold tile floors, bitter night winds, and the empty, frigid space shut out the outside world while hiding a grown man's overwhelming helplessness. Chris braced the bathroom door shut with his feet, holding his small boy in his arms so the child could rest his head on his legs and sleep soundly. Too young to grasp life's cruelty, the boy nestled trustingly against his father, convinced they were simply on a brief adventure. Staring at his sleeping son, this unyielding man who had never shed a tear finally broke down sobbing. He was consumed by guilt and powerlessness. No matter how hard he fought, he could not provide his child a stable bed or a warm home. Adult breakdowns never erupt dramatically. They unfold quietly in unseen corners, followed by quiet resilience to carry on. Even trapped in utter hardship, Chris never railed against fate, spoke ill of his departed wife, sank into despair, or took his frustrations out on his son. No matter how exhausted or destitute he was, he always comforted the boy gently, framing their hardships as a special adventure game with childlike white lies. Though he owned nothing materially, he gave his son boundless love and solid values. He taught his son never to let anyone tell him he could not succeed. He told the boy that happiness must be chased with one's own hands. Even mired in mud, one ought to look up at the stars. Through countless freezing hungry days, he bore the crushing weight of survival while grinding through complex financial textbooks and tending to his son's every need. He studied while others rested, hustled while others relaxed, persisted while others surrendered. He knew he had no retreat. Behind him stood his young son, and on his shoulders rested the duty of fatherhood. He endured suffering no one else could bear, weathered burdens no one else could carry, quietly growing stronger through endless lonely nights unseen by the world. Life never fails ordinary people who hold fast and press on. The grueling internship came to an end, and more than 200 rival candidates were eliminated. Only Chris, forged by hardship and despair, stood out through relentless grit and perseverance to claim the sole full-time spot as a stockbroker. Stepping out of the firm and walking the crowded streets, all his grief, exhaustion, and heartbreak melted away. At last, with his own 2 hands, he broke free from the chains of poverty, secured a stable future for his son, and safeguarded his dignity and integrity. Every one of us faces a lonely low point in life, times of confusion, exhaustion, constant rejection, isolating loneliness, and unspoken pressure we bear alone. Yet the pursuit of happiness reminds us happiness is never a birthright, but a reward earned after enduring storms. Life may strip you of wealth, stability, and dignity, yet it can never take away your unwavering courage, nor the kindness and sense of responsibility you hold fast to in your heart. There is no instant success, no random stroke of luck. Behind every glamorous life lie days spent grinding through hardship, teeth clenched. True happiness is never handed to you. It is forged step by step, endured, fought for, and carved out through your own struggle.